Hey guys, Just1 here. Before the video begins, I just want to say a big thank you. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and although it won't stop my videos from being demonetized, thank you everyone for sharing my videos and helping me. Now let's get into the video. LEGO Ninjago episode 78 has left us with more questions than we had answers. And today I'm going to be going through the biggest thing that's been on my mind since watching the episode. Obviously there will be spoilers for episode 78 and any episodes prior, so, stop watching if you haven't seen them. The Oni and the Dragons. This, the more I think about it, gets more confusing. Now, not in lore-wise, it's actually very simple. However, more of the fact that Ninjago's history contradicts this heavily. The very basis of the first Ninjutsu Master is contradictory to this new development. You see, first Ninjutsu Master was the light to the Overlord's darkness. The balance in Ninjago was held up through the light side by the first Ninjutsu Master, while the darkness was held up by the Overlord. Now you could interpret this in many different ways, however it was made very clear, abundantly clear, this is how it was. So, this new thing has raised a few questions in my mind and made me link some things to Garmadon. Today, let's have a look through. So first off, we need to go back and we need to look at the Oni and the Dragons. They have a balance in their world. When the first Ninjutsu Master was born, he embodied that balance completely. Both perfect amount, they fought over him, over themselves, everything. It was complete chaos, with the balance going back and forth, broken all the time. When Ninjago was created, the first Ninjutsu Master did not want this. However, he had to create something to balance him out, I'm supposing. So the Overlord was there to be his balance, because he wanted to be the light side. However, this doesn't make sense. Either he created the Overlord or he didn't. Because if he created the Overlord, it means he wanted to become the light. Meaning he wanted to be the dragon side. Meaning him leaving the first round was utterly pointless because he ended up just choosing a side anyway. However, if the Overlord was a mistake and he just ended up choosing the side because of circumstances, then that could be different. We don't know how the Overlord fits into this, so I'm going to just stop talking about him. But I just wanted to throw that out there, as it's something I'm a little bit iffy about, and I don't know if the writers really thought about it when they were, showing us here, and I hope that we do get some more information on what the Overlord is and why the first Ninjutsu Master abandoned one to just choose them later. Perhaps it was a more human error. Who knows? But, without the first Ninjutsu Master, we wouldn't get a very interesting thing here. You see, when I was reading a bit more into this, I looked at Wu and Garmadon, and they intrigued me heavily. You see, Wu and Garmadon embody powers of the Oni and powers of the Dragon. Now, this might not sound so, insane. It makes sense why they don't have elemental powers, why they're just stronger, they're different, it's odd. It's different compared to the elemental powers. However, the more I thought about it, something popped up into my mind. What if, in the Oni realm, in the Oni and Dragon realm, we have a balance, or a non-balance. There are a perfect amount of, perhaps there is the same amount of Oni as there are Dragons, or the same fighting force, and generally, they fight on equal terms. They beat each other sometimes, they lose sometimes, that whole thing. However, when Wu and Garmadon were born, they created a new paradigm in the universes. They were Oni and Dragons in Ninjago. And what if, this is just a crazy speculational theory, what if this entire time Wu and Garmadon have been affecting the balance in the first realm, without realizing it? Now, I was talking to AL with introductions about this, and he's the one that really came up with this theory. But, I kind of had a thought, and it interested me because Killow and Ultra Violet, now, I originally hadn't assumed they were Oni, and it popped into my head, maybe they could be Oni, but I didn't think so. However, with recent leaked images, yeah, they're Oni. They are 100%. They have the grey skin. Either they are Oni, or they are making themselves look like Oni. I don't know, we'll have to see, but I'm going to run with the fact that they could possibly be Oni. For this, they're going to be Oni. Now, put this into your mind. What if, in the first realm, chaos had ensued? Because for a long time, the Dragons were winning. Thanks to Wu, who had beaten Garmadon down, the Dragons had a higher, place in the thing, and no matter what they Oni did, they could never overtake them. And eventually, they lost, basically. After enough of this, they learned about Ninjago. They learned about why it was happening. they either sent Killow and Ultra Violet, or Ultra Violet and Killow just went. You know, 3 spirits, you know, they don't really care. However, once there, you know, they'd realised Lord Garmadon had been dead, they looked into the whole thing, and they joined up with the Sons of Garmadon because they wanted Garmadon back. Why did they want Garmadon back? Because quite honestly, Garmadon was a saviour to them. Now, whether they realise it or not, and whether we're actually going to get told that this is how it happened, he pretty much was. Because Garmadon had power that neither of them had. He was purely the Oni side. He embodied the Oni part of the first Ninjutsu Master fully. He was corrupted, he went completely evil, and he had the brains and the power originally to actually lead an army. Now, if he had been leading the Oni the whole time, then there would have been no problem. However, he wasn't. And this is where Ultra Violet and Killow come in, and why they want to resurrect him, because they see him as they either don't see him or they will see him as a powerful leader that will bring them to a new glory, because he is basically the Oni king or something, I don't know. Maybe that's what we're supposed to take out of it. But balance, and it all comes back to balance. This is the whole point. Garmadon and Wu fought basically all the issues that happened in Ninjago were inconsequential compared to the balance wars in the first realm compared to, you know, what was going on in Ninjago. Now, this is my theory. I'm just specifying again. This isn't canon. It isn't happened. It's a theory. But what if this entire time, you know, that had happened? That had been going on. You know, Garmadon was struck down to the underworld. He was then there in a different realm for all that time. He wasn't dead, so probably nothing happened crazily. In fact, he might have just gotten stronger. But he was stuck there, so it was a bit of a problem. And Ninjago, I don't think Ninjago would have really affected the Oni realm, but I think that his existence would have. So then eventually when the Overlord sucked out all the evil, now, actually saying that, one thing to note is that Garmadon was always Oni, he just was never evil. So he already had the power of destruction, he just never used it. So he was fine until he started realising he could, then he got rid of it. And basically, when he died, probably the balance shifted again. Now, this is all where it's pretty iffy, because Garmadon originally said he could go and destroy the balance. In the pilots, he wanted to destroy the balance. So what I'm assuming is that prior to him becoming evil, Ninjago was balanced. And it was him turning completely over to the Oni side, that, or the destructive side, that caused the balance to shift. Or could cause the balance to shift. And the same with the Overlord, is that if they had just stayed the way they were, it would have been fine. You know, if Garmadon hadn't been bitten by the Great Devourer and he didn't try and rip open Ninjago using the 4 weapons, or, you know, anything he did, basically. If he didn't use his darkness against Ninjago, the way the balance had been set up by the first Ninjutsu Master, then nothing would have happened. So I'm assuming that even, you know, this affects the other realms. If not the other realms, then just him existing along with Wu would affect the first realm, or at least the sides of the balance between the Oni and the Dragons. I don't know. I mean, I think that could possibly be plausible. I mean, if my track record is anything to go off, it could possibly be a thing. But you know, I don't know. It's crazy. It's a crazy conspiracy. I mean, I don't know what you think. This is a one-take video, so I probably said some things wrong in here. Just to recap real quick. The Oni and the Dragons are in one realm. The Overlord is kind of a bit iffy in that. The first Ninjutsu Master, they created a balance. Garmadon comes along, he can destroy this balance, or he can tip it to one side so heavily on his own. Wu tries to stop that and to keep it balanced with the light and the darkness. I'm assuming the other villains kind of fit into this somewhere, like maybe Chen's Wars would have created some kind of, you know, darkness to rise, rather than completely tipping the scales with dark power or something. And then going down again, the Oni and the Dragons, they realise what's going on. They send Killow and Ultra Violet, or something happens. The quiet one, and whatever's going on with Sons of Garmadon at the moment. They realise they need Lord Garmadon back after he's been destroyed, because they're losing, or they might even, whatever happened. Garmadon gets revived, and that's where the Dragons in the new, promotional things are enslaved, or in chains because they've lost, basically. They are losing now because Garmadon's back. And it looks like it could be a survival season. I'm making a video on that soon. But it looks like Season 9 might be a season where, Season 8, maybe the ninja lose. Maybe they don't win this time, and Garmadon comes back, because we know he's coming back. We know he's going to get revived. We just don't know if the ninja are going to beat him this time. So, anything could happen. The balance could be shifted completely once more, and the Oni could rise up and take over the Dragons, and then, you know, engage the ninja now that they've realised Lord Garmadon's a thing. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if Garmadon's going to rule the Oni, if he's hated by the Oni. You know, they could probably hate him, because if they figure out, you know, the fact that he's been so weak, basically, and how moronic he was to be basically beaten around by this evil dragon, who was, I'm assuming now, he's just created an image of the dragons rather than he's a fallen dragon, because apparently he can't leave the Ninjago or something. I don't know. There's a lot of conflicting information, but anyway, thank you everyone for watching. This is just crazy speculation, and I'll see you guys next time.